Hello, hello. How are we doing today? It's Thursday. This is the third day in a row we are live. Impressive, right? Yesterday I had a little help from Christina, which was great. But I was excited about this one because I get to craft, which is always fun. And I have lots of fun things to share while we craft today. So we'll just give everyone a second or two to find our video and then get cozy, find a blank page in your notebook, and then we will get going. Don't forget to say hello in the chat so I know who you're here. Cooper is joining us today on the floor, and he just looked up because I started talking. He was sound asleep, so I'm hoping he's just going to go back to sleep. Otherwise, I might have to open the door for him. But it is a nice sunny day outside, and sometimes people are not inside on their computers and phones when we do these lives. So if you're watching this on replay, that's okay too. So I'm going to get started. Nobody's talking. You're all being shy. Oh, there's someone. Hello, Karen. Oh, now he's stretching. And of course, he's going to make his way over to the door. Okay, we're going to let him out. Okay, you want to go out, bud? Out you go. See you later. He's worse than a toddler, I think, sometimes. Okay. Oh, Shelby's here, and Heather's here, and Marianne is here. Christina's here. Yep, see ya, Cooper. He's gone. All right, so these cards I showed in a live maybe last week. There's samples that Amanda made, and I love this set. And I just really wanted to create something with it. There's something about berries and citrus fruit that just make really nice cards. So I really wanted to give it a whirl, and I had a couple of ideas spinning around in my head, so I thought I was gonna make a live out of it. So one night last week I sat down in front of the TV and I die cut a whole bunch of strawberry stuff just so that I was kind of prepared, and then today we're just going to put something together. So these cards are created from a set from Pink and Main called the Strawberry Pop-Up Card. So the set is designed to make this really cute little pop-up card, which is so fun. And I'm going to show you how easy the pop-up part is. I'm not going to make a pop-up card today, but I'm going to show you how awesome it is and easy to put together. So that is the pop-up version, and it does stand up, beautiful for display and so on. Looking from the top down, it doesn't look so pretty, but like what the recipient sees is amazing. So I love that aspect, but then I do love the fact that you can put the basket and the berries and everything right on a card front, or you can just use the berries, and I'm sure you can just use the basket to do things on their own as well. So a set like this is quite versatile, and you can break it apart and use it for lots of different things. Just the berries alone, even if you don't use the leaves, like the berries are cute. The flowers are really cute. Yeah, so there's tons of great things, and I'll show you some of the die cuts before we start assembling everything and how it looks. So it definitely inspired me. I was kind of like, so I'll set those up there. And I did show the set. Now mine is not in the packaging anymore. Mine is on a large magnetic sheet. These are the Lawn Fawn 8.5 by 11 magnetic sheets. When I have large sets like this, I love to store them on here, or if I've got sets with a bunch of add-ons, because it just keeps everything together and makes it super easy for me to keep track of. So that is what the pieces look like. And then the packaging actually there's two pieces like this. I don't know where the other one is. But it shows you how the pop-up card looks. So really easy to do, and so on. So we'll put that away. I'm going to show you the pop-up part. Okay. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to make a pop-up card today. But I am going to show you how simple it is to cut the pieces out and put it together. So the pieces for the pop-up card, the first one is this one here. This is actually the back part, the very back of your pop-up card. So it has the leaves across the top. And these will just be in the shape of leaves. So you have your cutting line that goes around the outside. And then these parts here will just impress into your paper. And it will make it easy to line up the other leaves when you layer them on top. And it also gives you stems. Now, I just figured this out when I was putting together pieces for my card, because I have cut everything out that I needed for my strawberry cards and everything's here. But I did not know what this was for. I was looking at this card, you know, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I love the berries. But I had no idea what that was for. Well, it is to make these little buds right here. So this goes in behind the little leaves to make those buds. So I'm glad I didn't throw all the pieces out. This was my extras pile. So I just piled them in there, and I thought, okay, well, I don't know what they're for, but I figured it out. If I'd have looked a little closer at Amanda's cards, I would have figured it out sooner. But anyways, so that's this piece here. I'm going to cut out in green, which I did here. And see there, you'll notice those little stems at the top. And that's where these little yellow buds are going to go in behind. And you create the little flowers. So pretty smart. I like that a lot. And I'm just thinking, now that I've got this piece done, for my strawberry card, it would be kind of nice to have some of these little buds with the leaves to tuck into my design. So I might snip these off of here when I'm creating. We'll see what ends up happening. But so that's the back. And then this piece here is your main box piece. Oh my gosh, see this is how magnetic these are. You can't even get them off. There we go. So this piece here, I'm going to make a craft basket. So that's this one. And this is the piece that folds around the back to create this front panel of your basket. Okay. And you're going to glue that to the back, which I will show you how I do it. And then the other piece that you need is this one here. And that cuts out this front piece right at the front here that, no, sorry, it does not cut out the front piece. It cuts out this insert here with the berries on it. So that's what gives it the dimension. So this piece gets layered inside here, which then gets attached to the back here. So that's how that kind of goes together. So 3 main pieces. So not tricky at all. But I have to say, looking at this, it's a little bit intimidating. It's like, well, what do you do with all that? So those are the 3 main pieces that give you these pieces here. So we're going to stick those together. And I'm just going to show you how easy it is to do. So I am going to attach the middle piece to the front piece, and then I will attach it to the back piece. So they come with little side flaps, and they are scored when you cut them out. So you don't have to do anything tricky with a scoreboard or anything like that. They put the creases in there, and you just fold them back, and you're good. So I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive on there. You can use liquid adhesive, or you can use like score tape or anything like that. I'm going to use liquid adhesive because I like the ability to be able to move things around a little bit when I'm creating. And I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to line it up with the edge of the flap at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to set that in there. And it just takes a second to sort of tack up, and then I can let go. And you can wiggle it around a little. So you want it to be even with the top and the bottom. And you can see kind of what that looks like now. See, I've got space on the front and the back. So pretty easy. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to add a little bit of liquid glue to that. And again, I'm going to line it up with the flap at the back. And this is where those reverse tweezers come in really handy. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pair of reverse tweezers, and I'm going to pinch that so it holds it in place. I actually have 2 pairs. All the times that I said I didn't understand the purpose of a pair of reverse tweezers. And then I saw somebody do something like this and I'm like, aha, I need those. So that just kind of holds it in place for just a minute or so to let that glue tack up, and then you can let it go. So we'll be fine now. So that kind of creates that front panel. So pretty easy, right? And then I'm going to attach this piece to the back of this. Now you can wrap the flaps like around the back here like this if you want to. And then you could cut a second piece of this green to layer on the back, and then you would cover up the whole thing. But you can also just tuck that flap on the inside here, and then it would kind of be hidden. So that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to have to cut another panel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some adhesive to these flaps. Now, if I was making a pop-up card today, I might go ahead and put all of my strawberries and everything on these two panels before I actually assemble it. But I wanted to show you how this actually goes together. So I'm just going to place this on the back, and I'm going to use my tweezers to hold it in place while I put the other side on. So I'm just going to slip that in there. Perfect. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put this one on here, and I'm going to grab another pair of tweezers, and I'm just going to hold that in place there. So that is going to just hold that in place and tack it up for just a minute, and then I can let go. So whether you assemble your box ahead of time and then add all of your embellishments, or whether you do that part first, it's not going to make any difference. But I wanted to just show you how fast and easy it is to put this together. Okay, so there is our pop-up box. Pretty easy, right? So now what you're going to do is, I'm just going to bring this one here. So you're going to cut out your strawberries and all your embellishments and stuff, and you're just going to layer them right over the pieces that are showing etched into the paper already. So there's no guesswork as to where something goes. You can just go ahead and do that. Now, again, Amanda put the 3 berries here, just as shown here, but you could layer another berry and another berry so you can make it much more full, but she chose to put some flowers in there, so super easy. Now there are a couple of other pieces that you can add. So this piece here is like a trim piece on the front of your basket. So you can use that and put some dimensional adhesive on there. And they also give you these 2 other pieces here. Now Amanda did hers in a darker brown, but they're like little rails that go in here. And it's just to show like the seams of the basket or the box. So they get glued on there. So you would do those first. And then the top of the box just goes even with the top edge, and that would finish off the front of your box. And then you can add sentiments or berries or whatever extra things that you want to add to decorate it and make it look fun. Now, they also have in this die set, so here's that piece that does the top panel that goes across here, and this is the one that cuts the little rails that go up and down here. So that's those 2 pieces. They have this really cute tag, and you guys know I love tags. So I cut one out just to show you what it would look like. So you could use this tag on a lot of different things, but you can also attach a tag on the front of your box to put a sentiment on or whatever you want to do. So I like that option as well. So the tag is there. And then you look at my die set here. Here are all of the pieces. So you can cut out leaves, the berries, and there's 2 different sizes of berries. There's the larger one and the smaller one. And there are layers. So when you cut them out, you get the see-through piece with the seeds. So you can put a color in behind there to have that show through. So I loved the way Amanda's berries looked. So I just did the same color combination that she did. So I have, these are Concord and 9th papers. I just pull them out here so you can see. So she told me she used cranberry and brickyard were the 2 reds that she used. And then the 2 greens were avocado and artichoke. And then buttercup for the yellow in the center of the flowers. And then white. I used white for the flowers themselves. But when you layer these on top of each other, see how you can see that other color that comes through there. Can you see that? So that is kind of cool. And then you're going to have stems that go on the top, and it turns it into the cutest berry. So we're going to build some berries when we create that, but then they just get layered on there. And then you also get the leaf die. So you cut 2 leaves at a time. And again, we did 2 different colors, and they would layer up on top of this area here. And then there's the flowers. So you cut 4 flowers at a time, and there's 2 large ones and 2 smaller ones. And then this is the die that cuts out the centers for the flowers, and then that little yellow piece that goes up here. And I love that you're cutting multiples at the same time. So when you are die cutting this, it doesn't feel like you're die cutting forever, and you get a nice chunk of die cuts. And then there's 2 dies for the stems. They're slightly different. One swings one way and one swings the other, but essentially they're the same size, and they work on both the large and the small berry. So that is what all the pieces are for on your die set, and very, very easy to assemble. So this is where you would start to do your pop-up card, and then you can just add all of your pieces on top, and then boom, you're done. So pretty easy, but I'm going to set this aside because I'm not making a berry card. Pop-up card today. I'm going to make a regular card. So, and then if you wanted to do this idea, you just create your box front, but you don't have to do all the layers. And you just use that as your base piece. So there's no dimension like with the panels. We stuck them together. So you don't separate them like this. You can cut off the sides, and then you just stack them on top of each other. And then you can still get all the fullness of the berries and everything from the tops that these create. You just don't use the flaps on the side. And then you can create the basket right on a card front, which I think is a great idea too. Because sometimes you don't want a pop-up card. Sometimes you just want a regular card. But this is the one that really grabbed me. So I kind of went looking for ideas on, how to use strawberries on card fronts. And on Pinterest, you just get all sorts of things. And a lot of them are stamps and dies that are used. But there's some die cuts and stuff. But I just kind of took bits and pieces of things that I liked, and I created my own version of the card. So we're going to leave that one kind of up in the top corner here because that's my inspiration. Now, I really loved this background. I'm a sucker for anything checkered or, plaid or anything like that. But I also really like black and white. So I decided I wanted to do my panel in black and white. Now, this is a stencil that we have used lots of times. It is currently out of stock, but there is more coming. And it is the Tailored Expressions Wavy Stripes. And it is a fun one. And you can use it just as a striped stencil, but you can see that it's not like straight lines. They're wavy lines, which I really like. And then you can also turn it into a plaid. So you just stencil it one direction and then turn it and then stencil it again, and you end up with a beautiful plaid. And that's how Amanda created this, which I really think is very cool. But I wanted black and white. So I'm going to show you how you go about creating that. And I'm going to use my sticky mat because I need something to hold my stencil down. And I thought I had a piece of paper here cut out already. How do I lose things? I'm barely into this and I've already lost them. It's not good. Not good at all. Okay, just a minute. I know I cut pieces. Extra pieces. Oh, here they are. I found them. Here's our panel. Okay, so that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 panel. And I would do either the full 6 by 6 piece, or I would do your full size panel, and then you can cut it down to whatever size you want afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this on. And I'm going to use my sticky mat to hold the stencil in place while I stencil. Now, whenever I am using a stencil like this where these pieces in the middle can move, I always lean towards my pouncers versus my brushes that I blend with. Because when you take a brush and you blend, the first thing you do is you go in a circular motion like this. Well, all that's going to do is wiggle these pieces around. And there are products out there like pixie tape or pixie spray and stuff like that that you can use to hold those pieces in place. And that does work. And if you go in with a really light hand, you can probably make it work. But I feel like the pouncer is a better option for this. And I'm going to use my Tailored Expressions pouncer, and I'm going to use poppy seed ink. So it's not black. It's a very dark gray. And I like it because it'll help me control the depth of color. So in other words, it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit easier to go lighter handed with a dark gray than it is with a black. So this is going to give me the color combination that I want. And with the pouncer, you can lay down a fair bit of color pretty quickly. So I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'm going to give you an idea of how to do the panel. I've already created a full panel for myself, but I wanted to show you, first of all, how the pouncers work because I haven't demonstrated them in a while. And then also how this stencil works to create plaid. And feel free to comment in the chat if you have any questions that you want answered, because I'm kind of watching the screen. So I'm going to be pouncing off on my glass mat just because I don't want it to be too dark right off the hop. And I'm just going to literally bounce this up and down on my paper. And by doing this, I'm not moving those lines around. And then it's much easier to get crisp lines when you're doing your plaid. And you can go back over it a few times if you want darker colors. You can go in with a very, very light hand and still do shading and all that kind of stuff as well. I mean, you are stenciling, so it's not going to be like perfectly smooth. I mean, you can get it that way if you really load up the color. But I found that this worked quite well. And you can see that I can pick up the ink that's on my mat and bring it onto my stencil from there. So this ink isn't wasted if you're using a non-porous surface. The brush will just pick it right up. And I'm not pressing overly hard when I'm pouncing. I'm just kind of bouncing it up and down. They're like mini trampolines. They just boing, boing, boing. And it's awesome. These pouncers work really nice for pigment ink as well, because rather than swirling, it's actually, you know, slamming the color into your paper, and it's easier to build it up quickly. So let's say I did the whole thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is peel this off, and then I'm going to turn the stencil and go the other direction. Okay, so we're just going to place that on there and just push on the edges on my, I'm going to grab a cloth here. You're just going to push the stencil down really, really good with the edges so that they stick to the sticky mat. And then you're going to just go in again and start pouncing the other direction. And then it's going to create an amazing plaid, but with a wonky stripe. And I love that. I don't necessarily want a perfect stripe all the time. There's times when I do. And then you can make plaids in any color scheme you want. Because I think plaids work really nicely for all seasons, because you can think of nice fall plaids, and you can think of nice like Easter colors like pastels, which work really nice for babies. You can think of some really nice Christmas plaids, and even some summertime plaids too. Like a black and white check is awesome. You know, like this color here kind of reminds me of picnics, you know, like that kind of thing. So I think plaids are like timeless, and you can just use them for all kinds of things. So now let's pretend we did the whole thing again, and you end up with this beautiful plaid design. So again, this stencil is pretty easy to line up. So it's good for scrapbook layouts as well. I think you can, you know, create some borders or, you know, mat pieces or whatever. But that is how that is how Amanda created the background on this. And then I just wanted a black and white check instead. I just think the black and white is going to look really good with the red and the white. It's going to be pretty striking. Well, at least that's my hope. So that's how the plaid was created. Pretty easy, right? And again, I use the Tailored Expression pouncers. You can buy these. I think they come in a set of 4. And then I use to store them. We created, well, my son-in-law made these holders for the pink fresh 1-inch brushes, the wood blocks. So I got a second one, and on my shelf I have all of my pouncers, and they just fit in the holes nicely too. So that works well. I mean, they wobble around a little bit, but they don't touch each other, and they're fine. So that's where I keep all my pouncers. And then we're just going to clean up this workspace here, and I'll show you what I did with that background, because I did do one ahead of time just so I could get it trimmed and everything, so you don't have to watch me do that. You just want to see the exciting things. You don't want to see the boring things. So I just used alcohol spray on my glass mat, and the reason I like to do that is it just makes cleanup super fast. And I also use the alcohol spray on my stencils too. I'm just going to put a larger cloth down in the background here, and I just spray my stencil. Just let it sit for a minute, not a minute, a few minutes. You can see it, the ink is pooling off of there, and then you just take a cloth and you just wipe it off. Now, if you are going to use it again right away, just give it a quick clean, and the alcohol will dry really fast, so you don't have to wait for it to dry. And then you're ready to go. But what I tend to do is spray it again, because you're going to pull off even more color. I can already see it beading on here. And then you're going to get a nice clean stencil. So I just sort of take my cloth and rub it back and forth. And I go in the direction of the lines, because you don't want to bend those. And it just makes it super easy to clean up. So there you go. Good as new, right? So yeah, some ink colors will stain your stencils a little bit, and it's hard to get that off. So don't stress about it. But I mean, that gets them good and clean, and they're ready to go. So let me pull over my little tray here. Pardon me. So here's where I kind of created the front of my card. So you can see my stenciled background here. So there's my black and white pounced background. I just trimmed it down. So I wanted to have a black piece going around the outside, but I wanted that black piece to be slightly smaller than my card base, so that I get 3 layers on the front of my card. So that's kind of what I was going for there. And then I want to have my panel in the middle of my card that's going to allow me to build my scene. So that's the look that I got from the stencil. So I think that worked out pretty good. And I used the Tailored Expression stitched rectangles to create my panel. So it gives a little bit of stitching detail on there. And those are nesting dies, so you get them in all different sizes. There's one larger than this, but I wanted, again, enough of that checked background to show so that all my work isn't covered up by my panel. Make sense? Okay, so now we're going to really work with this. So this is where I'm going to create my strawberry design. And like I said, I did cut out all of my pieces ahead of time. So this is the tray that I'm working off of. I've got lots of pieces cut out, so I'll have lots of extras to make strawberries. Little tips or hacks that I use when I'm crafting. I often have ideas in my head, like, oh, I want to work with that set, and this is kind of what I want to do. So sometimes I'm able to just sit down and start crafting with it right away. But 95% of the time, I can't. I have to break up my time into chunks because I've got lots of other things I have to attend to. So what I will do is I will sit down and like die cut pieces up, get sentiments ready, all the bits and pieces, and those I can do in broken up chunks of time. So in other words, if I've got, 20 minutes while something's in the oven cooking for dinner, I'll run in here and I'll cut some stuff out, or, we're watching TV and, I'm not like, I can listen to a program and kind of get the gist of it. So I don't need to necessarily watch it. So if I want to keep my hands busy, I'll take a small die cut machine in the family room and I'll just, you know, die cut a bunch of stuff and I load them up in the tray. And then that way, when I'm ready to sit down and create, all the work, I'll call it work, has been done. And you just do the fun stuff like assembling and ink blending and whatever. And sometimes, I mean, I might sit down and ink blend my background as part of my prep. And then I feel like the creating part runs much smoother, but I know that doesn't always work out, but that's what I try to do. So, and I cut lots so that I have options. And then any extras that I have, I'll put together and I'll tuck away. And then the next time I need strawberries, I don't even have to do anything. They're all right there. And that's good because then you can often mix and match your brands really well and create some fun things that way, because you can just grab bits and pieces from here and here. But if you've got to pull all the stuff out and then stamp it, and what if it doesn't look good? And then you've wasted all that time. Does anybody else feel that way? Because I feel that way. So I grabbed some berries and things, and this is kind of a cluster that I want to create. So I'm going to go ahead and start sticking this stuff together. And again, my tweezers are going to come in very handy because I use them when I am putting all my pieces together. And I'm just going to, I didn't assemble ahead of time because I wanted to show you kind of the process of putting the things together. So I'm just layering a solid strawberry on top of a berry piece that has the seeds. Okay, so that's kind of what that looks like. And then I'm just going to attach a top. And like I said, one of them has this leaf that I'm hanging on to here. One of them has it swinging out one way and one of them has it swinging out the other way. So you can vary the design. And I'm just going to put that right on the top. And then I use these little pond magnets to put on top of things to hold them together while I glue. So I can move on to the next one. And then while I'm doing that, the other one is drying up and I'll be able to move the magnet over to this one. They're just like, the magnets are like an extra set of hands. And it just makes it really easy to do. So I layer the die cuts together and then I just sort of run my fingers around the outside edge just to get everything to line up. And we'll just layer that top right on there. Wow, that's just kind of went everywhere. There we go. And one more. So you can see how much faster this is when you have the pieces already cut out. Like I didn't have to take the time to cut anything right now. And the time that I spent die cutting before was kind of like, I'll call it wasted time anyways. Like, what are you doing for 20 minutes while you're waiting for your dinner to warm up in the oven? Or, you know, it's time to sit down and relax on the couch. And I mean, I find this very relaxing, so I don't feel like it's stressful. Some nights I'm just too tired to do it, but if I'm not, this is a great way to spend some time. So you feel productive, and then when you go to actually create your cards, now I'm going to use this. So just a little dab of glue in the center, and then you can just pick up your piece and plunk it in the middle. There we go. So these are the smaller of the two flowers, and then I have one large one. Oh, and I hear my husband starting to cook dinner out there, I think. Maybe not. Because my kitchen is right outside my office door. So I can sometimes hear him. I don't think it's him. Darn it. Okay, so there's my 3 flowers. And then my leaves, I don't really have to do anything. There's no assembly required for these leaves. They are just nice, big, chunky leaves, and I can see myself using those for lots of things. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of create my cluster. we'll call it a cluster, for my card. So I had a little piece of inspiration I was working off here, so I'm just pulling that up just so I can remember how I wanted to place them. Oh yes, down in the corner. Okay, so we've got 2 larger berries and then we have 1 smaller one. So I am going to kind of do like a little kind of thing down the side, kind of like this. Okay, so I've got the smaller one down at the bottom. And then it's just a matter of filling in with leaves in a couple of spots. So I'm just going to kind of get this in position just to see what kind of space it takes up and how things look. And then we're going to put a leaf in here to fill in that space. So lots of greenery in there too. And then we're going to add some flowers. So I think kind of 1 in here to break that up. And kind of 1 over here. Do we want it on the top or underneath? I think kind of underneath is good. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then 1 at the top. But I'm thinking I might like the small one at the top here. And then the larger one kind of down in here. Awesome. So that's kind of the look that I want. So it gives me a nice cluster on the one side. So I'm going to go ahead and, no, I'm not going to go ahead and stick it down yet because I want to use some, oh, I just did that now. And okay, we're just going to slide that off. I decided I wanted to bring in some black and white twine, and I'm going to wrap that around the back of my panel and tie a bow. So I'm just going to cut myself a piece of this and just bring it around from the back. And if you don't like to tie bows, you can just wrap it around a couple of times. And actually, I might do that. And then tie a bow and attach it because I kind of like the effect of having more than 1 line of twine. So then where they intersect kind of over here, I could tie my bow. Now most of this is going to get covered up over here, but I still think I like the way that looks. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cheat and use a little bit of Scotch tape on the back. So we're going to bring this down a little bit. I'm going to crisscross that like so and bring the end over and tape it on. No one's going to see the back of this, so it doesn't matter. And then same thing with this side. Just going to bring that around and then tape. Trying to get your tape off one-handed is fun. Come on, there we go. All right, and then we can trim these off. Awesome. Now we're going to create our berry cluster after all that. So what did I say I was doing? This one at the top, then this one, then this one. Kind of like that. Okay. And then this leaf goes in behind. I'm just going to get general positioning again so I can feel confident about sticking things down. And I like that black and white twine is showing over there. And then this one will go up here like so. Perfect. Whoop. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this leaf down. We're going to start building. You should use Glad Press and Seal. I know, I always think that too. But I'm going to wing it. I should have remembered I wanted to put the twine down first, but it escaped me. This one looks good here too. And I find, you know what, most of the time it works out, even if it's not exactly how I laid it out the first time, it generally works out pretty good. I can fake it. But I know that stresses some people out. So this one's kind of popped up a little bit. So what I think I'm going to do, just because of the twine there, I think I'm going to add a little foam tape. And I have one that's a little lower profile, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to just put some foam tape at the tip here and over here. And then it'll just kind of bridge over top of that twine. What is Shelby saying? I have press and seal in my craft room. I do too. It's in my drawer. Like, it's not in our kitchen, but I have it in my craft room. But I don't always grab it because, I don't know. I just wing it. Some things I'm good at winging. Some things not so much. But this is one of those things that I can just kind of wing it. So you can see that I have this space in here. That's the part that I'm going to kind of overlap this twine. And then it'll hold down good. There. Okay. Now we can position our strawberries. And I'm going to kind of spread them out as much as I can. But I want to cover up that hole in the middle. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so we need a little glue on this one. I'm going to pop it up. Get my foam tape. Oh yeah, I forgot I started a new roll. Mine is giant. I'm like, where's my roll? But I forgot I used it all. So now I'm using the big one again. Okay, so we're just going to put... I've got to be careful because I'm going to be tucking in some flowers too. So I want to make sure that I don't seal things off too much and then I can't tuck my flowers in. So I'm just going to add some foam adhesive to the backs of these berries. And then figure out where my flowers are going to go. Okay. So this one will be here. Oh yeah, it looks great popped up. This one will be here. And this one will be kind of here. And then we decided to put the big one. Was the big one here? I don't remember. And little one. And then this one we can pop up too. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put this one down with glue because it gets tucked underneath. And I just put glue in the center. I don't need it all the way out to the edges. That way if the ends just kind of float, everything doesn't look pasted to the card. And then this one is going to be flat. And I'm going to put this petal into where they join, just so if there's any space that needs to get covered up, it will. And now we'll get some strawberries in place. This is making me hungry for strawberries. I bought some today. Okay, so I think that one looks good there. So what is your favorite summer fruit? Strawberries is not my favorite summer fruit. I do love strawberries, but can anyone guess what my favorite summer fruit is? Well, I have two favorites actually, and they're about equal. Let's see if you guys can guess. Strawberries. Well, strawberries is not one of them. I mean, I like strawberries a lot, but it is not one of my favorites. So Shelby's got one right, but no one's got the other one yet. Oh, Christina got it. So peaches are my actual favorite summer fruit. but I do love watermelon too. Okay, there we go. Doesn't that look good? So I'm just going to hold that up just so you can see. Doesn't it look great? Watermelon and peaches, that's what it is. Oh, you like cherries? Yeah, cherries are good too. Amanda's been enjoying cherries this week. I don't know what kind of cherries they got, but she said that she's been eating way too many. So, okay, so there's my little strawberry cluster. And I'm going to bring over my background again. And we're going to see what this looks like on black and white. So let's put this together. Put some glue on here, because I don't want this sliding around while I'm trying to piece stuff together. But I do love this black and white background. That it's turned out really good. Okay, so there's that piece. And then we'll get it attached to the card, because nothing else is happening there. Now my husband is in the kitchen, which is a good thing. Are all you ladies jealous? Okay, so perfect little space of white that shows from the base. I'll just show that. So see how you've got 3 layers there? I love that. What's for dinner? Oh, well, he's making pork chops. So we get Hello Fresh sometimes. And one of the recipes that we got, it kind of walks you through how to cook the pork chops. And we don't always love pork chops because they tend to be kind of dry. But the way that we learned how to cook them, oh my gosh, they're so juicy. It's very good. I know we did. We overcooked the pork chops before. And now, oh my gosh, so good. And then we're having fresh asparagus as well. And I said to him, I said, well, how are you cooking that? He goes, just trust the chef. I said, okay. So there's my panel. I'm going to go right there on the front. What do you think? Looks pretty good, right? Woohoo! Okay. And then let's talk about sentiments. So all the sentiments that were used on these cards are a discontinued set. But they go really nicely with this type of card. So I am going to use them in the live. And I know I don't like to do that because I can't get them for you. But I have a little proposition. I was kind of on the fence about this. But anybody who purchases anything from now until the end of the day and puts in that they watch the live, I will cut you out a set of these sentiments and include them in your box. Now, if you place your order tonight and you want to ship, I'm going to have to, I'm leaving first thing tomorrow morning for the weekend, but I have to get these cut out. So if I don't make it in this box, I will make it in the next box for you. I will do my very best. But if you have to purchase something between now and midnight tonight, and you have to write in the comments that you watched the live, the Strawberry Live, I will cut out a set of sentiments for you because we can't get them anymore. So I'll show them to you. It is a set from Studio Katia, and we used to love their stuff. So it's one of these sets that is the whole stamp is connected. So you stamp it one time, and then you get all of those. So it says, let's put it against the white here. So it says, "You're the sweetest friend, sending sweet wishes." Oh, now we got to turn it all over. "You're so sweet. Thank you very much. Hello, sweetie, and thanks a bunch." So that's what they say. And then you have a die. It's just one die, and it cuts out all the sentiments in one pass. So you have to line up the die with all the sentiments, and then they all cut out at the same time. So I've told you guys this before. I hate when I'm making a card and I'm like, oh, I got to get a sentiment. I made up a tray for myself, and I'm not giving these to you, but I made 2 of each, and oh my gosh, I love them. So, and I'm sorry that we can't get them anymore, but I just think this is going to look so cute, like right up here. "You're the sweetest friend." Like, come on. Right? I still have to do my bow here. and then my gems, but that's kind of where we're going to go. But you can choose like a lot of the different ones. So like sending sweet wishes. Well, this could be for your birthday, right? And the fruit just makes it like so great. Doesn't it look good? I just love it. So that's where I'm going with this. I just have to decide which sentiment I'm going to put on. But again, this is one of these cards that you can make like several of and just have them all done except for your sentiment. And then you have sentiments cut out in your stash. So when you're ready to give this to someone, you can say, oh, I'm going to put this sentiment on it. So that is that I like to do that too with my cards, because then if I need a birthday card, then I can put a birthday sentiment on it. If I need, you know, a thank you card, I can put a thank you sentiment on it. If I need I don't know, whatever, like you can then decide what you want to put on it. So I like the idea of leaving it blank, but I probably will put something on. Which one do you guys like? So this one's a bit bigger. It says you're the sweetest friend. So it takes up like a larger part of the card up there, which I don't mind. Let's get my bow on there and then we'll see. I got to tie my bow. So the reason I am going to do my bow separate is because I'm going to double up the twine. So I'm going to cut, whoops, I almost dropped that right on the floor and then the twine would have unraveled everywhere. I lost my scissors. Oh, here they are. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of twine. And the trick to doing a bow is to make sure you leave yourself enough twine to do it. But I'm not good at teaching how to do bows, but I can kind of do it. And then I just manipulate it into the size and shape that I want. So this is pretty big right now, but we're going to pull this down. And it'll look like I wasted a lot of twine, but you need enough to make your loops to get it to go right. So this looks pretty good. And I kind of want it on a bit of an angle so it takes up some space. So we're going to go ahead and put the bow on, and then we can decide on the sentiment. But you guys, you're the sweetest friend or thank you very much are my preferences. I like the one they have there. Yeah, we'll just see what it looks like here. So let's get this on here. I'm just going to put the glue right on the twine there. And then the knot of my bow, just looking to see which way it looks best, is going to go right on top of that. And then I'm going to get out my trusty magnet and plunk it on there. And it's going to sit for just a minute. I just love the way this looks. I knew the black would be good. So I'm just going to give that a second to tack up. I mean, I love the color that Amanda chose with her berry card too. And that's just a different orientation of, you know, putting the berries together with the leaves. And it looks wonderful. Wasting a bit of twine versus less frustration. Oh, 100%. I've learned that. You know, sometimes you just got to have a little extra, but then that's going to sit there nice like that. And then we're going to just trim off these ends. And it's going to be perfect. There we go. So there is the thing. So you're the sweetest friend, or what was the other one? Thank you very much. Yes, that one would look good there too. I don't know. I like this one because it just takes up more space. And I mean, really, you're the sweetest friend. And then on the inside, you could have, you know, wishing them a happy birthday or thanking them for something or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to this one. But I have lots of extra berries and stuff. So I'll definitely be making more of these. And then I'll leave them blank. And then I can grab these sentiments out whenever I want. And what I did when I made the sentiments, I'll show you in just a second. I like to stack my sentiments. Okay, I better not do this. This isn't glued down yet, so I don't know if it's straight. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, if you have a sentiment that you want to just stamp right on your background, that would also look great on this kind of card. This particular sentiment, you can't just do one. You can't just stamp one sentiment. You have to, it's not even straight. You have to sort of stamp them all. So it wouldn't work just to stamp it, but there's a nice white space there. So you can definitely just stamp something right onto the card. But what I did was I stamped them out and then I cut extra backgrounds, and see how thick they are. I cut 2 extra backgrounds. I didn't stamp them, just the die itself. And I cut it out of 110 pound, and then I glued them together, and then they are stacked and they're thick like thickers. And then when you put them on your card, they kind of are raised up. Can you see that? And I just think it really looks so good. And with the berries being popped up and everything on that side, it just works out so well. So now I'm ready to stick this down. I'm wondering with that thread on there if I'm going to need. Nope, I'm not going to. I don't want to pop it up because I already have dimension on the front. Because if I nail this, I don't want it to be too bulky. Okay, so we're just going to put this right down. On the front. I'm just going to pull it down. I just need to make sure it's straight. Perfect. And then I'm going to pull out just a few magnets just to put these on and hold this down so the glue can tack up. I just need one in the corner here. Okay. So that's just going to sit there like that for just a minute, and then it will be it'll be all nice and stuck down. And then all I have to do is add a few gems and then we're done. And I mean, if you want to go crazy with these strawberries and the leaves, you can do like a little bit of ink blending on the edges of the cardstock, so you can add depth to it as well. So there's tons you could do. It depends how much time you want to spend creating, but it's pretty fun. I stick my magnets to the leg of my desk. That's what you hear. And then that way I always know where they are. So that's my little tip there. Okay. So, and if you want your bow ends to kind of like go in a certain spot, like this one wants to fling up. So I'm just going to take a little tiny piece of glue, and I'm going to use my tweezers, and I'm going to pick them up and put them where I want them to go. And then they're not going to move. Same thing with your bow. If it's kind of twisting and you don't want it to twist, you can just put a little bit of glue and sort of tack it in place. And you don't have to like make it so it's like stuck flat on your card. If you kind of like, push it a little bit, it still looks like it's loose and flowing. But there, now that end is going to stay where I want it to stay. Okay, let's add a little bit of gems here. And I think I'm going to kind of focus the gems around my bow and not so much the berries. So I'm just going to kind of randomly put, I've got 3 different sizes. So, oops, I just hit the camera with my head. Sorry. I don't want it to be too much like a triangle, but let's just see what this looks like. It can take me, no, I don't like that. I don't mind that there, but this maybe goes up here. It can take me as long to place sequins as it can to what do you think of that? Is that okay? You know what? I'm just going to stick it down. I'm not going to labor about it forever because it can take a long time. So I'm just going to pop these on just for a little something. Maybe I'm only going to do one there. And then maybe I'll switch this one out for a small one. Like that. Oops. There we go. There. So there we go. Finished. What do you guys think? Which pickup tool am I using? This one is, I want to say it's Altenew. Yes, it is. I just ordered more of theirs. Did we get them in already? I don't remember. Maybe we did. Yeah, I think we might have, but that's Altenew. I mean, they're all the same, to be honest with you. Like, I think they're all manufactured at the same place. They just do different colors and add, different things, but it's basically the same thing. Isn't that fun? I just love it. I love the black and white. I love the berries. I just think it's cool. So yeah, that's it. So I will hold true to my word. If you purchase something between now and midnight tonight, I will make a list Oh, yes, the perfect picker. Yep. So we did get those in. I will make a list and you will get a set. So there'll be 6 sentiments cut out and stamped in black, and I will include them in your order. So I need the weekend to get them done. But like Monday, Tuesday-ish, should be able to do that. So if you put in your comments, to hold your shipment until the sentiments are added, that's fine. Otherwise, if it gets shipped out, we'll just add it to your next box or whatever. So I'm happy to do that because we can't get these. So I think it would be fun to include them if you really want them. So that's it for me. So this is the last live this week. I wanted to show you one more thing. So we have been uploading a lot of stuff. I'm going to add this to my thing. Here we go. So we've been uploading. Oops, that's my inspiration. See, there's my inspiration right there. So we've been uploading a lot of stuff to our online store in the clearance section. So we moved, and my office became a dumping ground for a lot of things during that transition. And I'm finally finding some time to go through things. And we have stamps and dies that I've received for virtual sessions with manufacturers, things that we've used to create samples for our lives in our store. And I can't possibly keep everything. So they're very gently used and sometimes not used at all. Sometimes they're brand new. They're just not in original packaging because sometimes we will receive product before it's even available to customers and they haven't got their packaging done yet. So we've been loading up the clearance section with stuff like that. And I just wanted to show you where to find all that stuff. You should be checking this very often over the next little while because there's always going to be new stuff going up. So you go to the online store and then over here, you'll see this piece that says clearance. So you go in there and this is broken down in a few different ways. So the blob that says store samples, this is only got things that were used to make store samples in here. So the product has been gently used to create a few samples and then, that's it. So you'll notice in the title, it says used for store samples. It'll tell you how many dollars off you're getting. And then this NFS. So NFS means no free shipping. That means that you cannot include this in your box total for free shipping. We're happy to put it in your order, no problem. But when we do your subtotal, we don't include these things in there. So just be mindful of that when you're shopping. Our system doesn't know that it's not included as part of your box total. So you have to do the manual math yourself. Okay, so this section is filled with sets like that. And then if I go back, the other thing that we have in this section is card samples. And these are cards that we've designed for our lives and even ones that were on display in our store. And the designers have decided that they don't need this many cards. So we are selling them and they're pristine. I mean, they're amazing. So if you're looking for cards, there are 7 pages of card samples in here right now. So we just loaded up another 100 or so. And then I'm going to go back again. So if you don't go into either one of those categories and you just go down here, this is everything that's in clearance. So it's going to be the card samples. It's going to be the store products used for store samples. And it's also going to be just things we want to clear out. So you've got to be very mindful of the title. So like if you look at this first set here, it says no free shipping, NFS. But over here, it just has this product. So do your math. But there are 15 pages of clearance items. So Shelby's been very busy loading this section up with lots of stuff that we have that we are saying goodbye to because I can't possibly keep all of these things. My room will explode. So the other thing is, and I want you to make sure you read, I'm almost done. Oh yeah, that's fine. Read this section up at the top here because it gives you information. It tells you that we've created a special shopping section just for clearance items and card samples and products used for to create these samples. So there's special clearance pricing, limited quantities are available, no restock. Prices are already slashed. All sales are final. Once you buy it, it is yours. There's no returning it. There's no deciding you don't want it. There's no, oh gosh, I already had that. It's yours. So review your cart before checking out, because once it's been submitted, no changes can be made with these items. So just read those things before you go ahead and shop. But there's some great deals in here. There's going to be things that aren't available anymore, maybe, or that we don't plan on ordering in anymore. So definitely take some time and go through there and enjoy some of those sales. So I just wanted to point that out. Again, if you're on our homepage, you just click online store and it's right along the top here. There's your clearance right there. So that is that. Any questions? Yes, no, maybe so. If not, I'm going to sign off, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I know we're not quite there yet, but close enough, because I'm not going to be back on again. And we will see you again soon.